Diddy get arrested finally and get the book ready to be thrown at his very, very, very dancing feet. They're gonna beat his feet with that law book. That's how many crimes he's done. And everyone's so surprised. You know how weird that is to me? They procure bitches to do damage and wild shit. Like, it was something like that I said. Why don't nobody ever want to believe me?
Oh. Without
Jamil
question.
Jamal said it himself. Jaguar sat on the couch and said he put the boots to that girl, and y'all said she was a liar, and then we seen it, and then y'all just said...
There's never been an image of Diddy in handcuffs.
No, we need that. We need that. I need that perp walk. So as I keep reaching out to victims...
You feel that Piers Morgan allowed you to get, because you only have so many minutes. I know you don't know exactly how the show's going to be structured.
Yeah.
Did you get what you want to say out? And was there more for you to say? Of course, there's more to say.
I'll never have enough to say.
Right.
There will never be enough screen time for me to say. But what I will say is, I'm grateful for the questions he asked. I'm grateful for the time he gave me to answer. And I pray that I was able to hit everything that needed to be hit for the public.
And that one, let me just read this here. So, Diddy's list of accomplices to be revealed in a new lawsuit, okay? In a new lawsuit. So, in this story, this lawyer comes out and just drops the bomb on everybody. Attorney Tony Busby revealed that a list of Sean Diddy Combs' alleged accomplices will be released in a new wave of lawsuits involving 120 victims. He promised the names will shock you. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there are a lot of names, he emphasized. We're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. The lawsuit covering incidents dating back to 1991 involving alleged of sexual abuse, many related to Combs at his infamous white parties events, allegedly involving drugs. Busby plans to file cases across several states, stating we will leave no stone unturned to find all potentially liable parties. Combs currently detained after being denied bail twice, has emphatically and categorically denied the claims, calling them false and defamatory. Even his lawyer gets up, Diddy's lawyer, and says the reason why he's got 1,000 baby oils is because, you know, when you go to Costco and there's discounts, that's what he was doing, and people are supposed to believe
Save that money, Diddy. You got to do
exactly
what you got to do.
we all do that. We all go buy 1,000 bottles of baby. Go ahead,
I got
Rob.
3 in my bag right now.
Go ahead, Rob.
Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us.
Stop it.
With people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse is very valuable. So then what the fuck happened to the commission? What happened to that album? It was recorded. It was being mixed and mastered upon Biggie's death. It was supposed to have came out that summer after Biggie's album, because Biggie's album was slated. He died a week and a half before his album came out. Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy, and then starting his own company. Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he lived. It supported all of Bad Boy.
It's real, yo. The more money you make, the more problems you get.
You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Pierce.
Diddy has a clone. Apparently there's this thing spreading around where people are saying that the person that's actually in jail is not the real Diddy. Let me catch you up to speed. This is a real photo of Diddy. Notice the markings on his face. They're very prominent and they are from the real Diddy. However, in this mugshot right here, you do not see these markings at all. So people are claiming that whoever is in jail, allegedly, supposedly, is not the real Diddy. This photo always terrified me. There's just something off about this photo. To make matters even more weird, Diddy's private jet is still flying around as we speak and making stops in various locations around the world. Just a few days ago, his private jet was spotted at Auckland Airport, a spot normally reserved for private aircraft. This is from the account Celebrity Jets. They're actually tracking P. Diddy's private jet flight path. And this is when it was landing at New Zealand. And 2 days ago, it was at Honolulu, Hawaii. This is the actual private jet that Diddy owned. And you can see him getting off this private jet here. So what do you guys...
All the girls. Impulse control issues? I don't know.
What makes you so vocal? Like,
I'm tired.
he just...
I
like,
just want to skip to the end. All this shit is f***ed up. All you is weird. Go to jail and let's move on and let Generation Z make their own problems, make their own choices. These kids are living the consequences of what Gen X did and don't even know why they're doing it because everyone's lying.
So
Corporate Takeoff's death wasn't nothing but a corporate hostile takeover using his life as the god. Oh my God.
Man, R.I.P. Takeoff.
That boy died so they could cash in a month insurance policy and to cover up the fact that Rock Nation was ripping Megan away from 300. I guess nobody's paying attention to the fact that complete control of Megan Thee Stallion's career was taken over right after Takeoff died.
Increasing complexity of the case, a new judge has been assigned to oversee Diddy's legal proceedings. This appointment comes as federal prosecutors gear up to handle an expanding list of defendants, which includes several high-profile names. The decision underscores the gravity of the situation, with the possibility of an even broader investigation looming. Many celebrities linked to Diddy's parties are said to be in a state of panic as arrest warrants and subpoena subpoenas. Rumors of secret tapes containing compromising footage of stars like Jay-Z and Kim Kardashian have only intensified the scandal, sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
Also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Some of these stories, because I think it's important to point this out. When you highlight and you talk about some of the charges that have been leveled against him, and you see some of the stuff that's being said about him. Look at this right here. Former Danity Kane singer Aubrey O'Day writes, "I never thought I would see this day," she told TMZ. "We all buried this inside of us in order to be able to keep going. And not just me, but victims you don't even know yet. We're all processing what that type of vindication can actually feel like now. Every conversation I've had with victims last night has been beyond moving on all levels." That was Aubrey O'Day. You know 50 Cent was gonna make sure his voice was heard. Clowning P. Diddy. Taunting him, basically, because he's long taunted P. Diddy for years over the harrowing allegations against him. And what does he say here? This is yesterday, 50 Cent. Here I am, keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore TV show. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house. 50 Cent was referencing the over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricants for the freak-offs that the indictment revealed were allegedly found during the raid of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami back in March.
Celebrities, including Jay-Z, have reportedly gone into hiding after the FBI issued warrants to search their properties. An attorney involved in Diddy's case has allegedly reviewed incriminating footage that features several high-profile figures, some even more influential than Diddy himself. These tapes are said to contain compromising activities recorded at Diddy's infamous parties, potentially implicating major stars in the illegal events now under investigation.
So as you guys know, right now, because Diddy's arrested, a bunch of these Kardashian clips are once again going viral. And it has to do with Khloe, Kourtney, they're talking about Diddy parties, you name it. Well, there's even a little bit more that I don't think I covered. This is from The Sun. Here we go. So at the time, Khloe told her sister Kourtney that she had spent the night partying with a string of famous faces. She said that I got on a plane at 5:30 in the morning. Well, this party, I think half the people there were butt naked. You would have loved it. Khloe then turned to her co-star, Kaja, I don't know how to say it, and said, have you met Khloe's new crew of friends? To which she replied, yes. Yeah, I don't think I covered that, so oh my goodness. Also, I want to point this out. When you guys watch the Kardashian clips where they're talking about these Diddy parties and you really watch them, you can tell it's almost like they knew it was weird or bizarre or shocking, right? So Khloe said something along the lines like, oh, Kourtney, did you like the party? And Kourtney's like, yeah. And then they talk about it and then Khloe's like, you loved it? I don't know. It just seems weird to be talking about a party because usually when you go to a party, everyone's like, yeah, the party was sick. It was great. It was a good time. But how they're talking about it just even seems off, bro. I'm just saying. Who knows, man?
As if you didn't need another reason to dislike Will Smith. Well, after watching this video, and mind you, it is a little disturbing, so please keep that in mind. Jaden says his mother sold him to Diddy, just like Usher handed Justin over to Diddy, and he had to attend those so-called camps, and they did the same thing to him that they did to Justin. So his mother actually forced him into these horrible acts. Also, Will and Jada used Jaden for their own freak-off parties, and Jaguar Wright said young men have actually ran screaming out of their house just to get away from them. So she did say that they do really weird things in that house. Also, Will, his assistant, he actually walked in on Will having schmegs with another man. Also, Jada introduced Jaden to some altering pills, and the fact that she had schmeg with one of his friends for 4 years. And guess what? Will didn't mind because he was batting for the other team and having affairs with young men that were in the industry under the guise of mentorship. And he used that to manipulate all of them. This is so disturbing, I can't even tell you how sad I feel for Jaden. Also for what they have put him through. His life probably would have ended up differently. So if they had just freaking been normal. And Jaden, he emancipated from his parents when he was 16, and he refused to even come back to do family interviews. So I just hope that one day both him and Justin get the help that they need and can move on from all of this. I'm Keenat, and that's my perspective.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
Kim Porter's book says Kim had tapes of Diddy having relations, air quotes, with Jay-Z, Will Smith, and others. Okay, so I told you guys yesterday, and I played a couple of little clips from his interview, but I told you that I was going to sit down and watch the whole thing and come back and talk to you guys about it. So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. I watched it for you guys so you wouldn't have to, okay? Now, there's a lot of things that this guy is saying that I don't believe when it comes to him and this flash drive that he has. He claims that Kim Porter's friends gave him a flash drive, and that's where he got the book idea and the stuff to write this book that he's put out on Amazon, that Amazon now has taken back. Okay, but although that he is saying some things that just seem very far-fetched and untrue because he hasn't proven it, people are saying there's a lot of things that can be true, and he is saying that he is actually going to produce finally the evidence. So for people like me who don't believe him, or maybe believe some things and don't believe, he's saying that if it comes to it and he's pushed to litigation, that he is going to prove the fact that he does have this flash drive, and on these flash drive there are tapes with Will Smith and Jay-Z and others. He said, and I'm gonna play the clip for you in a second, he says Will Smith and Jay-Z can be bisexuals. Actually, you know what? Let me not even paraphrase this guy. I'm gonna just play the clip. Listen to what he says about Will Smith and Jay-Z and about them being
and people with foolishness and people with malcontent. But we are sifting through that and trying to make sure that we identify and vet people that have real claims, legitimate, credible claims. Right now, we're talking about 120 people from 25 different states for conduct that occurred over 25 years.
25 different states? Is that what you said? Not cities. You said 25 different states.
Yeah. Because, a lot of these parties obviously took place in Los Angeles, New York, Manhattan, or the Hamptons, and Miami. And a lot of these people were flown in. And this wasn't a secret. I mean, it was known that people were being flown in for these parties. People were being paid cash to attend these parties. People were being identified at clubs or at concerts or on the street even, and invited to these parties. So you have that group of people that are involved. And then you have another group, and maybe this is the more sinister situation, where, young people with stars in their eyes, wanting to break into the entertainment industry with promises of stardom, who are taken advantage of, in some cases allegedly drugged and abused, and basically just left behind, with shame.
Jennifer Lopez's connection to Diddy has come back into the spotlight as both her personal and professional ties to the music mogul are now under scrutiny. Lopez, who dated Diddy in the early 2000s, has been linked to several events at his infamous parties. Although there is no confirmation of her involvement in any illegal activities, her name appearing on the arrest warrant list has sparked a media frenzy. Legal experts suggest that Lopez might be called to testify, especially considering
height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure. I mean, but there's a police report. Yeah. I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the number so everyone can see that this is a real number and can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report that was made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously, so we want to follow up on that. Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room, is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police who are typically men who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Turned raunchy.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, you know, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy implemented a curfew for children.
The kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to.
I think he's a monster.
This week, Houston-based lawyer Tony Busby says more than 120 people are coming forward with claims Diddy sexually abused them.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Did Diddy assault you in any way?
When you say assault, I don't know the exact definition, but he put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way.
Diddy is now behind bars, facing federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. He denies all claims of sexual abuse, including against minors.
Because I think it's important to point this out. When you highlight and you talk about some of the charges that have been leveled against him, and you see some of the stuff that's being said about him. Look at this right here. Former Danity Kane singer Aubrey O'Day writes, "I never thought I would see this day," she told TMZ. "We all buried this inside of us in order to be able to keep going. And not just me, but victims you don't even know yet. We're all processing what that type of vindication can actually feel like now. Every conversation I've had with victims last night has been beyond moving on all levels." That was Aubrey O'Day. You know 50 Cent was gonna make sure his voice was heard. Clowning P. Diddy. Taunting him, basically, because he's long taunted P. Diddy for years over the harrowing allegations against him. And what does he say here? This is yesterday, 50 Cent. "Here I am, keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore TV show. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house." 50 Cent was referencing the over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricants for the freak-offs that the indictment revealed were allegedly found during the raid of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial in May on his sex trafficking charges. A judge at a hearing in Manhattan set the trial date, also discussing a gag order imposed on prosecutors and the defense, telling them not to discuss the case or provide any material about the case to the media, to the public. They contend that the government leaked a damaging piece of evidence potentially against Combs when a videotape from 2016 was played on CNN earlier this year. That video shows Sean Combs and his then girlfriend Cassie in a hotel in Los Angeles. It had been a secret, private for many years, but then it came to the forefront and was played publicly on CNN. The defense contend that that tape was leaked by investigators. Prosecutors say they have no knowledge of any leak, and they refute the allegation that they were involved in any leaks. The judge says he will consider potentially having an evidentiary hearing to get to the bottom of that. That won't happen for some time. First, the defense and then the prosecution will submit paperwork outlining their positions on